Have you ever wondered who you are when no one is watching? When the phone goes quiet, the room dims, and from the day's noise only a small whisper remains. When the mask you wear slips gently to the floor, do you have the courage to meet the face that remains? Jung said our deepest truths breathe not in the spotlight, but in the soft darkness of the shadow. Perhaps you've stood for years at the door of a room you avoid. The key is in your pocket, yet your hand will not reach. From inside, you sometimes hear a child crying, sometimes the hushed anger of an adult. Today, let's approach that threshold together, without rushing, without forcing, without judgment, only with curiosity and a gentle courage. Which part of you hides from you? What are you most afraid to see? If you can, share a single sentence about it. Your words may become a light for someone standing at the same door. The face we present to the world, the persona in Jung's language, acts like a polite bridge that helps us get along. You smile in meetings, stand steady beside a friend, say, "I'm fine at home." The bridge promises safety. Yet sometimes it hides the far shore entirely. In the evening, when you face the mirror, you alone notice the tremor in your eyes. Something inside whispers, "We are not here." Even while calendars fill, lists are checked, and goals are drawn. The persona protects us, but when it tightens, it becomes a garment too small to breathe in. This is why the slightest criticism can make you shrink, and a compliment can make you step back in disbelief. Because beneath the bridge lies the shadowed shore you've hauled for years, stifled desires, postponed angers, parts that long to be seen yet fear being misunderstood. They are not bad. They are simply waiting in the dark to be witnessed. There is a thin instant in the steam of morning coffee when the mind reaches for a task, an email, a message. Exactly then, a sign rises from the shadowed shore. A scene returns. You misread a word at the blackboard, your face burns, and laughter rolls in the room. A fragile part of you curls inward and hides. That child, your inner child, still walks beside you. The adult mind says, "It's over," yet your body remembers the heat whenever a similar scene appears. Individuation, the path Jung named, means taking that child's hand again, not leaving them in the dark, but bringing them to the edge of the sun. To become whole is not to become perfect. It is scattered parts leaning against one another until they discover the warmth of belonging. Your days may carry no grand drama, yet small frictions appear. A colleague's harmless sentence takes up more space in your mind than you expect. You say, "There's nothing to make a fuss about," and still a faint echo lingers. Often the shadow speaks through that echo. It whispers that the flaw you project onto another reflects a side you carry but do not wish to see. What you call jealousy may be the sealed box of your creativity left on a high shelf. The stone you throw in anger may be the cry for help of a part that never learned how to guard its boundaries. Quiet truth softens when heard without judgment. Pulling up a chair for the shadow and asking, "Would you like to speak?" opens the first door of change. Dreams are messengers of the language behind that door. One night you wander corridors without end. Some doors are locked, some are ajar, some are thrown wide. In one room are old notebooks, in another crowds whose faces blur and drift. In the morning it all seems absurd, yet all day a certain doorway swings at the corner of your vision. Jung said dreams are not logical but symbolic. They speak in the language of the soul. Perhaps the corridor is the queue of conversations you have postponed. The door left slightly open, the crack of an unfinished relationship. The locked door, the rusty key to a sentence you waited to hear from your father. By night, the dream lays on the table the parts that cannot speak by day. Your task is simple. Jot a few lines in the morning and ask quietly, "What did this image stir in me?" The answer may not come at once, but as curiosity holds steady, the symbols warm and unfold. Sometimes life winks with a small synchronicity, as if with a shy sense of humor. You open a book at random and find courage on the very day you've been avoiding a difficult call. Or a long unseen friend knocks just as an old tune begins to hum in your mind. The intellect says, coincidence. The heart smiles yes. Such notes are the outer echoes of an inner conversation. There is no need to inflate them. Simply saying, I noticed, strengthens the thread. When you are caught between mask and shadow, the body is the truest compass. Notice how your shoulders climb and your breath shallows when you try to prove yourself. Watch how quickly you deflect a compliment, how firmly you hold on instead of allowing yourself to receive. In an argument, when your voice trembles, follow not the words but the rise and fall of your chest. Long before the mind has grasped the story, the body quietly knows it. When the inner child is afraid, your hands grow cold. When the shadow wants to open, a knot tightens in your throat. When the persona is exhausted, your jaw clenches. Close your eyes and ask, where am I right now? Often the answer arrives before words do. As you bend toward your own story with gentleness, invisible scripts inherited from your family begin to appear. A quiet house may have sentenced your feelings to a whisper. A loud one may have thickened a shield of calm. The collective unconscious is home not only to personal wounds but to images and fears handed down for generations. Archetypes rise from this ocean like figures from an ancient tale. One day you lunge like a warrior, another you hold back with a sage's patience, and then suddenly you look around with the eyes of a lost child. All are you. None alone is you. Individuation means allowing these characters to speak on stage one by one and learning to hand the microphone to the whole. Approaching the parts you fear is not about correcting your wrongs, but about listening for the intelligence inside them. Beneath procrastination, a perfectionistic protector may be trying to keep you safe. Ask, what are you reminding me of? And feel the breath deepen. Beneath jealousy lies a hunger for love that sees value everywhere, but struggles to grant it to you. When you say, I see you, the direction of love turns gently inward. When anger flails in the hands of a part with neglected boundaries, whisper, where are you trying to protect me? And the stone grows lighter. Dialogue with the shadow is less about turning darkness into light than about discovering the warmth of making peace with the dark. At times you will ask, what is truly mine and what did I learn from others? Then remember the strength of small rituals. 3 minutes of quiet behind a closed door. 2 soft breaths in which you speak your own name kindly. 1 pause at the mirror to ask, where will I place myself today? Saying your name with warmth builds a bridge between persona and shadow. The inner child lifts their head at the sound. When your breath says, I am here, the body relaxes and symbols speak more clearly. As you notice how inner relationships echo outside, you begin to look at your choices of people, work, and city with different eyes. While talking with someone you love, a thin sheet of glass may suddenly seem to slide between you. Perhaps that glass is the long unsaid no you swallowed years ago. When someone pulls away and your insides churn, watch the movement. It may be the old wave of emptiness left by adults who disappeared without explanation. That space wants to be seen, not to fall into or to close over, but to sit beside and say, you are here. In time, the space feels less like a lack and more like an invitation to a new bond. Friendship with the shadow thins the glass. Your voice grows barer, your gaze warmer, your touch more real. This work needs no haste, scorecards, or stern laws. The transformation Jung pointed to rests more on sincerity than on schedules. Today it is enough to notice a single image. Why you smile in crowds, tense in silence, or rush to change the subject when praised. 3 lines of a dream at night. A body check on the morning's first sip. A small greeting to the synchronicities you notice during the day. These widen the walls of inner space inch by inch. As the air grows fresher inside, the mask grows lighter. The shadow links arms with you not as a stranger but as a companion who completes you. You realize wholeness is not about being flawless. It is about welcoming your parts to sit at the same table. Pull up one more chair today. Whoever arrives, offer water first, then listen. A cautious guest sits at your inner table, then a shy one, then another in a hurry. Each speaks your language, yet each voice rings differently. One avoids your eyes. The corner of their mouth holds an old tightness. You glimpse the spark of aliveness you hid because it was called too much. Another wants to fix everything and be right in every debate. Behind them quivers the proud yet shaky heart of a child raised under harsh authority. As the chairs fill, the noise quiets. Each part, warmed by being seen, stops hurrying. The shadow does not announce itself by shouting. It reveals itself as a deep exhale when at last it can relax. That exhale changes the air in the room. On your way home, you steal a glance in the elevator mirror. A sentence from a meeting still scrapes inside. Even as you unbutton your shirt, the tension does not release. You set the phone aside and sit in the dark for a minute. A figure appears. Tidy hair, measured gaze, the inner judge. By long habit, it rushes to seize the floor. Do not silence it. Say, "I want to hear you." The voice softens and explains its duty. To protect you from shame when you were small, it stayed on constant alert, trying to catch mistakes before they grew. Thank it, then ask, do I need the same protection today? Often the answer is as simple as a shoulder unclenching. Beneath the ice of judgment, a tenderness afraid of being hurt appears. When that tenderness turns toward you, the hand you extend to others softens as well. Repeating patterns in relationships carry the most visible traces of the shadow. You pedestal someone or you push them away. In these swings, projection is at work. Praises cloak your own desires. Criticisms hide your own fears. When you judge someone as too cold, perhaps you fear the very silence you use to freeze your feelings. When you shove someone aside as too demanding, perhaps the part that has never learned to voice its needs is stirring. Once you notice projection, the scene changes. You listen not to fix the other, but to understand the movement within. The crowd inside does not vanish, but they stop trampling each other and begin to speak in turn. Dreams help arrange this order. You see a house, bright upper floors, a busy ground level, a basement with a flickering bulb. Awake, you walk its plan. Sometimes the house is the psyche itself, trunks in the attic where old ideas settle in quiet, a salon where the persona welcomes guests with elegant phrases, a kitchen where feelings seek warmth, a basement where a hushed story keeps vigil. The meaning is not the same for everyone, yet the words that appear at the tip of your pen in the morning sketch your own map. Ask, "Whom did I leave in the basement?" And a distant memory stirs, a sentence unsaid, a tear that reached the rim and waited. The magic of dreams lies less in explanation and more in relationship. A heart that learns to converse with images takes gentler steps in daylight. Some days anger swells and you do not know where to pour it. Instead of suppressing or exploding, pull up one more chair. Ask, "What are you protecting me from?" And anger often unrolls a boundary map. From behind it steps the one who postponed saying no, who gave time generously and burned out in silence. It is easy to scold this part, but when you listen, it asks a long-neglected question. Do I also get to exist? Saying yes does not reject others. It allows you to show up for your own life. Individuation is not cutting ties, but including yourself in them. Then anger returns to its rightful post, as guardian of your boundaries. The stone in its hand becomes a sturdy key. A feminine or masculine figure may appear often in your imagination. When you feel close to them, creativity wakes. When far, a part of you dims. Jung called these figures the anima and animus, inner guides that write invisible notes into relationships. An idealized anima, burdens real people with unfair expectations. A rigid animus enforces all or nothing laws. Instead of battling them, befriend them. At the edge of a creation, you need the anima's imagination. At a decision point, the animus's clear and incisive thought. Reconciling them is like setting a shared table for feminine and masculine wisdom. They argue, but they learn to meet in a common aim. The small synchronicities that pop up through the day are ripples from these inner conversations. A sentence you need appears on a page. A song plays at the very moment you waver. Before you dismiss such moments, ask, what did this stir in me? Synchronicity is not an iron fate, it is a gentle rhythm life keeps with your inner world. When you begin to hear it, sweeping decisions give way to small, sincere yeses and nos. Your steps feel steadier, your gaze grows present. Cultural myths carry large images, archetypes through time. One day you find yourself in a labyrinth with the Minotaur, yet a thin thread lies in your hand. 3 breaths in the morning, 3 lines of dream notes at night. Hold the thread, and the labyrinth becomes familiar. The corridors belong to your own body and soul. Another day the wounded healer visits, showing the part that runs to others' pain while ignoring your own. Sit with that figure, and you may hear, I want to help without touching my wound. This admission does not break you, it builds you, because real help grows from a heart that has felt the warmth of a hand extended to itself. Sometimes you say, knowing all this still is not enough, why am I stuck? Knowledge marks the threshold. Relationship opens the door. This is the heart of active imagination. Invite a figure from a dream, or an image that lingers through the day, and speak with it. Write down its replies. The first steps feel odd, then the figures reveal a consistent language, a humor of their own, even patience. The aim is not to conquer them, but to recognize the energy they carry and invite it into life in creative ways. Fear's energy can become boundary, anger's movement, jealousy's awareness of value. As energy transforms, your gestures in the outer world shift, quietly, gracefully. If roles learned in your family's quiet rooms still seek actors on today's stage, greet them as well. While you speak, you may hear your mother's voice. Notice your father's gaze behind your judgments. Feel your grandmother's steady hand on your shoulder. Make a small treaty with your inner family tree. I receive what comes from you, and from now on I will carry it by choosing. This sentence does not erase the past. It makes an adult pact with it. When it is signed, part of the weight on your shoulders settles into place. Not a crushing burden, but a spine that helps you stand. In the outer world, small moves matter. Telling a friend, I'm tired, let's talk tomorrow, may be the boundary sentence you postponed for years. Drawing a frame at work, I can do this within this scope, honors value rather than shrinking it. Saying to a partner, this topic triggers me, can we slow down? May lift the old lid of abandonment fear. Each sentence is the outward expression of calm decisions made at your inner table. No one wins or loses. The point is relationship. Sometimes you step back, sometimes you draw near, sometimes you wait. Walking through a crowded street, you catch your reflection in a storefront. Your face is familiar, yet your gaze opens inward like a window. Through that window, the 3 dream lines for morning, the protector you listened to during a dispute, and the small synchronicity that visited at dusk begin to join. None gives a final answer. The sharpness of your questions loosens into a wider curiosity. Instead of rushing for results, you sense the quiet peace of staying in relationship. That peace is not the polished smoothness of perfection. It is the living texture of reality. Lines, curves, small knots you can feel with your fingertips. As the table you set inside grows, your way of speaking with the world changes. Quick defenses give way to bare, curious phrases. I don't know, but I can learn. I'm hurt, and I'm here. I'm afraid, and I'm listening. These are not weakness. They are fibers that strengthen the heart. The more you can sit beside your shadow, the more lightly you wear the mask. Now there is a face beneath it that can breathe, a heart whose word matters, and a circle of awareness surrounding the heart. This is not a grand conclusion. It is learning to walk, feeling your foot in your shoe, noticing the ground's texture, finding your rhythm in your own breath. The inner crowd begins to accompany you like a choir. Sometimes the soprano rises, sometimes the bass deepens, and the baton moves gently and surely. You are the conductor, not a tyrant, but a listening, guiding center. As that center grows, your old fears learn to walk beside you rather than rule you. One morning you look in the mirror and feel the weight you have carried for years lighten a little. The tightness in your shoulders loosens, your breath deepens, your eyes turn kinder toward yourself. The inner child is still tender. The shadow still keeps its secrets. The persona still offers its protective mask. Yet they are no longer enemies. They sit together around the same table. Individuation is not different parts bowing to a ruler at the center. It is each part being accepted and finding its place. When a person becomes whole within, the outer world looks different. Success is lived not only for applause, but for meaning. Relationships are built not to hide deficits, but to grow together. Losses open doors into deeper rooms. This transformation is often quiet. It shows itself in small signs. In a dispute, you do not shout. You draw a clear boundary. You accept a compliment and simply say, "Thank you." You do not dismiss a dream. You write it down and walk with it through the day. Small awarenesses widen the heart thread by thread. On the subway, you catch a hint of your own shadow in a stranger's eyes. The next day, a long, unopened book offers a key to a symbol you have been seeking. Life becomes a set of mirrors you no longer fear because whatever you meet, you recognize the pieces inside. They are not there to break you apart, but to help you become whole. Wholeness opens onto humanity's shared story. In the ocean of the collective unconscious, the images that visit your dreams wander through the dreams of others too. The hero, the mother, the sage, the shadow. Sometimes you feel mythical, because the same motifs that flowed down from antiquity still accompany your steps. This awareness softens loneliness. Seeing your struggles as roles on a universal stage, you hold yourself more gently, and others with more mercy. Someone's anger frightens you less. They too wrestle a shadow. Someone's pride wounds you less. You sense the vulnerability hidden behind the mask. And because you have befriended your own shadow, you can look upon another's with understanding. At the end of this road, you reach not perfection but openness. Cracks and scars remain, yet light leaks through them. The inner child may still cry, but the adult you can hold their hand. The persona may still raise its mask, but a breathing face stands behind it. The shadow still whispers, yet its words do not terrify. You hear them as notes in the song that integrates your life. This openness reshapes your bonds. Conversations grow real, silence is restful, affection deeper. Life still rises and falls, but the center within you holds. You know now, to be whole is not to erase the dark, but to walk hand in hand with it. Give yourself a small gift today. Before you turn out the lights, take 1 minute. Sit in silence and ask, which part of me tried to show itself today? Do not force an answer. Simply place the question and leave it there. A symbol may visit your dream. An old memory may surface in the morning, or a quiet synchronicity may wink during the day. This simple practice is a daily way to befriend the shadow and invite your inner parts to the table. Offer it a minute each day. Over time, the pieces draw closer and a wider calm grows at your center. If this journey touched you, feel free to share a sentence about it. Your story may guide someone waiting at the same door. To keep exploring together, you can subscribe and discover other reflections inspired by Jung's work. Perhaps you will find the sign for your next step. Thank you for sharing this moment. Until next time, embrace yourself with all your parts and make room for every inner traveling companion.